we didn't know what to do.
But then I came up right after that and said, help me out. This isn't working. What's with this bit? What's wrong?
Okay.
So he said,
Yeah.
and we started giving notes to each other.
Yeah,
Very
perfect.
good. Hey.
Hi, how are you? Good, and you guys?
Good.
Well, great job.
Thanks.
And first of all, I would like to know how much do you guys identify to each of your roles in the movie?
How
Do you identify at all?
identify? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, if I were to find something, it would have to be the urge to get away and do adventurous things, because I do live my life that way. I travel, I have airplanes, I travel, I go to safari, I go on motorcycle trips, I go on boat trips, I do machine things, you know, so probably the urge for is similar to do those things, and pretty much that's it.
Then go home, Toby! You make me sick!
I can't do this many leaves for $10.
Grow up, Toby!
How about you?
I think I identify with Dudley's simplicity and his candor. Dudley just assumes everybody is good and wishes him well, and he's honest almost to a fault. And that's sort of my MO in my life. I try to tell everybody everything. I decided about 20 years ago to stop lying. It's really hard, but
Well, that's great.
it's hard to tell the truth all the time.
Right.
This spring, they may not know how to ride,
I gotta work on the fist tapping thing.
No, you gotta work on the bike riding thing.
How about you guys? Like, what's the biggest day-to-day challenge that you have to deal with your fame and being such great actors as you are?
What's the biggest challenge?
Yeah, that you have to go through, like, when you have to, like, adapt to a character, like, so
I
many
see.
different kind of, you know.
Well, that's my MO in life, is to vary the roles and vary the situations that I'm an actor in. So that's not even a challenge as much as it is the joy of what I do. I think the challenge is making sure that your choices are seen. You know, that every time you take a chance and you do a independent movie, let's say, as opposed to a big movie like this, that your special performances are gotten to be appreciated. I think that's a challenge. You know, if you do a little movie, will it be seen by enough to make it? Does a tree fall in the forest if you're not there? Do you know?
Right.
It's that kind of feeling.
How about you?
One of the things we went through on this is certainly the first couple of days on a set when it's sorting itself out. And John and I had done a movie before, so I knew he was a jerk.
And vice versa. And vice versa.
So we could go right to insulting each other. We didn't have to have that.
Wow. That's although Tim didn't make any bones about going right into
Tim was in your face. But there's a shaking out period, and we got so lucky on this film because I adore these guys. And I did pretty much at the end of the first week. But that first week it's frightening. There are so many variables, and you really have to be a team player. And actors don't have much control, really, ultimately. Once you say yes, the filmmaking is in the hands of other people. So it's a little bit frightening.
It's kind of like potluck.
It is.
You know,
potluck.
you come to the table with your own thing, and you hope that at the end of the day everybody's well fed, and that you hit a home run. You know.
Well, how was it? Well, you guys have worked together before. How was it working with, like, Martin Lawrence and Tim Allen? And
Martin Lawrence is a revelation.
He was.
He's such a gentleman.
I was scared of
So-
him too. I mean, yeah, because he had a little bit of a reputation of being tough, and he is this.
The
He was
opposite.
sort of the soul
Bad
of
boy.
the film.
He was a soul of film, respectful, well-mannered, gracious, a gentleman, and appreciative. He was. He would. If you had a good take, he'd go out of his way to tell you that was funny or that was good. I mean, he's a very decent guy.
He was sort of the soul of the whole cast.
Yeah, really, I agree.
This is it! A road trip. I can't get off work. Come on, guys! What do we have to look forward to anymore?
In my day, ladies stayed home, not the lazy men.
In your day, the men were busy building pyramids.
they went looking for an adventure.
Well, it was magnificent watching you guys adapt, like, well, of course you're amazing actors, but going from like dark roles or more like dark comedy, Pulp Fiction, or like Bobby, more serious role, to this kind of unwinding kind of. How do you guys like? I don't know. Is there a point in your life where you have come to this kind of crisis that all the characters go through here?
I never really had that happen to me, but trust me, I know a ton of people that have, and I've watched it over and over again, whether it was family members or whether it was friends. So I was very familiar with the behavior, but I had the good fortune of never really having a complete crisis. I was too busy. Once I got to the point where I could have one, I had children and I had a wife and I had to pay attention to that. So I did it all a little later. I got married later and had children later. So.
I'm a little behind myself. I'm going to have a midlife crisis, but I just have to schedule it in. Perhaps next year I'll find the time.
That's great.
What do we have here? 4 men in a bed, spooning. You fellas don't even recognize just how lucky you are to have each other. Damn lucky.
Are you wearing pants? No.
A lot of people look up to you guys. I would love to, know what advice would you give people or actors that want to get where you guys are?
Take Fountain.
It's a
It's
street
in
LA.
LA. It's a quick way to get to the west side.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I don't know. You have to get used to rejection and still keep your confidence about you. You have to be able to love it so much that if you didn't succeed at it, you'd still want to do it. People say, well, but if you weren't who you were, I'd say I'd probably be doing community theater. You know what I mean? I like it too much to not be doing it. I mean, when I had a down period in my life, I would improvise sometimes 8 to 10 hours a day with my friends. Meaning because I couldn't get away from it. So whether I had no audience or one audience, or I still would find myself doing it. So if you have a passion for it, regardless of the level of success, I think you just stay with it. But often, people come up and they have the wrong reasons for wanting to do it, and I feel bad for them because it's not I want to be famous and have money, and I said, well then, rob a bank and, but don't go into the arts, because the arts have to be about the arts, and all that is second. All that's a byproduct. You do a good job and you get rewarded for it, but that's not what you go for. You go for the effect of the work. And, that's the joy of it. So.
Of course. And you?
The same thing. If you don't enjoy, especially as a film actor, there's this moment where everybody gets quiet, and for about 2 minutes, that's your time to say the words. And if you don't take all the joy from that, you won't be able to stomach the rest of it. Because...
Is that how you guys keep grounded?
Yeah, I like that
so.
2 minutes. I like to act. I really like to
I do
act.
too.
And I'm willing to put up with all the other stuff too.
There's a famous critic years ago who's gone now, Pauline Kael, and she was considered the best at the time. And she said about me that I was an actor who loves to act. And I thought that was very true and authentic, because even when I was a kid and I was doing summer theater, I remember the directors or the producers of the theater companies would say, you really get a kick out of yourself, don't you? You really love performing, and it was contagious, because then you can't help but wanna join in or something, So, yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank
Thanks
you
for
the
talking
interview.
to us.
What did you do?
Maybe I blew up their bar.
Oh!
I know, that was bad.